How many hearts have you broken with those great big beautiful eyes? Those great big beautiful eyes that tell such beautiful lies.
How many times have you kissed somebody like you kissed me then? I don't.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all ships at sea. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message from the Prepared Mind Network.
They want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President.
Well, we made it, folks. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel, where we discuss all things SHTF, that is to say, poop hitting the circulating metal chopping air thing. It hit the fan, folks. It hit the fan back in 2020 with COVID, and it has continued ever since then. And now we're to the point where an unelected, appointed, deep state puppet of a prostitute, or is it a prostitute of a puppet? Hard to say, isn't it? Is trying to steal the election. Only now everyone is looking. Only now everyone is paying attention. Only now we all see what is happening. And the Kamala Harris campaign is out of steam. Allegedly, they're running out of money. They're running out of time. And their odds are getting slimmer by the day. So what comes next? Now, videos and pictures have surfaced, and Kamala Harris looks extremely tired. In one little short video, she's like, yawning. I get it, folks. I yawn too. She's yawning. She's tired. She looks beaten. They're pulling ads everywhere off of media, especially in areas where they're losing and losing badly, and they know they can't win. There is a war cry, though, from the left. Trust me. To not give up. Not give up. Today, at the end of my workday, I went and voted. Yes, I did. I went and voted. I wore a Marine Corps shirt with Recon Battalion on the back of it. I wore my Trump hat that said Trump, said Donald Trump on the back. Nobody said a word. Nobody in line, no poll workers, no election workers, no poll watchers, nobody. People looked at me like, oh my God. Oh, the Trump guy. I'll tell you what, when I stepped out, it was interesting. You leave the building out one of those doors that has a one-way. When it shuts, you can't get back in, no handle, no doorknob. It's a one-way exit. And then down a handicap ramp. And at the bottom of the handicap ramp was this big, disgusting, nasty-looking Democrat. Pink hair, fucked up shirt. You know, you could just tell liberal. Screaming liberal. And you would have thought I was coming down the ramp to rob her of her purse the way she was looking at me as I approached. And I just looked at her and I was very friendly. I said, hey, how you doing? And I stood there and collected my thoughts, had to catch up on a couple of phone calls. And a Republican woman came out the door next. Very well put together, very neat, nice clothes, nice purse. Don't know if it was Coach or Prada. I have no idea. But she walked down the ramp and made eye contact with me. She's about my age, 50, 45, whatever. And she goes, I really needed that. I had to do it. I'm so glad to be done. And we voted. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that was interesting. I was like, boy, this woman's got some thoughts on her mind, you know. And she goes, I couldn't press that pin hard enough. And I just kind of did a high five with her I was like, yep, time for a drink. Huh? She's like, yo, you bet. Funny shit. People were very excited to be voting. And I could tell who the Democrats were. They were not happy to see me, and they didn't look very pleased. I stood in line for, I don't know, it was probably half an hour, 45 minutes, just cracking Trump jokes left and right and Kamala jokes. I had some fun with it. Just telling a couple of stories. It was good. But some of the questions that are coming out there are, if Trump is going to win this, what is going to happen? So before I get into that, folks, down below is the comment section. Get your questions, your thoughts in. Hey, have you voted? Are you going to vote? What did you see? What stories? You can put a little short couple of lines down there. We've been doing that a little bit. If you have a prediction about the future after the election, the certification, the inauguration, the post-inauguration, State of the Union and Congress, what are they going to act like? How's the media going to treat things? There's a lot of SHTF crap coming right up. But one of my concerns isn't SHTF. It's Mad Max SHTF. Mad Max SHTF is coming. A lot of people are saying the post-election violence and civil unrest from the Democrats is going to be off the hook. Because they lost, they're not going to be very happy. They're going to blame Trump, call him a cheater. They're going to say he's a misogynist, he's a Nazi, he is Hitler, all of those things. Will the country erupt in violence? What will you do about it? I was prepared, folks. I had like I said, I had a nice red shirt on to kind of alert everyone to my presence. I had my best Jesus cleats, so that if I had to get into kung fu fighting, I'd keep my footwear on. But nothing happened. Now, it is Florida after all, and if you fuck around too much, you will find out. You will find out. Now, but the preparations for post-election chaos, food, water, shelter, clothing, means of self-defense, right? Medicine, of course, first aid kit. Are you prepared? We could have some serious shit go down. It could start and be finished in a couple of days. It could take a couple of days to build up and go for a couple of weeks. It could end up going into the winter. Now, in the colder climate areas, where snow and ice are, maybe people won't be outside as much because it's so cold. Remember, 2020 was the spring and summer of love after the St. George Floyd incident. But it's coming, folks. I really believe it's coming. I know that there is a chance that Kamala could cheat her way across the finish line. I just think it's very low. Now, I've heard a few people blame Tampon Timmy. That's right. Old Timmy Walls, right? Twinkle Toes. That he's a little too light in the loafers. That he's got too much, shall we say, baggage. And then combined with Kamala's baggage, it was just too much to overcome. That they needed to get rid of Twinkle Toes. Well, there was a candidate that was coming up, right? Kamala wanted to replace Tampon Timmy with a former Democrat mayor from Maryland. He's the governor of Minnesota, but, a mayor from a big Democrat city. Well, unfortunately, the one that she picked, it was charged with possessing 45,000 files of child sex abuse images. That's a big whoops. Another Democrat taken down, right? He couldn't be vice president. Seems like every time there's a Democrat candidate for president or vice president, they get caught for being pedophiles. Interesting, huh? And speaking of that, this morning I touched on the panda. The White House Halloween party where Joe Biden nibbled on at least 3 children with his teeth. What kind of bullshit is that? And to take things a step further, right, it was Jill Biden wearing the panda suit. Now, I thought, okay, they're pandering to people. I thought, okay, maybe that play on words. Or China, they're showing China, hey, we're still your stooges, we're still your puppets. But I looked into it a little deeper and was disgusted. I figured I would wait till this afternoon to share it. Apparently, if you're a pedophile and you anally violate someone, it causes their eyes to black out, like you've been punched in your eyes, black eyes. Apparently, in the world of pedophilia, this is a thing that means you've done a good job hurting children. It's called being pandaed. And I thought, that's pretty fucking sick. No doubt. But then something else happened, right? Remember, I just discussed that Arnold Schwarzenegger, he came out and endorsed Kamala. And I thought, you know what? Screw him. Screw him. Well, guess who he sat with while he endorsed Kamala? None other than John Podesta. John Podesta was one of the key up and front players during the exposure at the beginning of Trump's first term of the pizza and hot dogs, comet ping pong, pedophilia bullshit. John Podesta sitting with Schwarzenegger. Well, there you have it, folks. Schwarzenegger is owned. I think that was the deep state's way of saying, we own this guy. We want you to see that we own him. I think Dr. Joe Biden in a panda outfit, while Joe is busy nibbling on and biting and touching children again. I think that is their way of saying, hey, don't you forget, we know about you guys, right? I think they're all scared to death. They're all trying to protect themselves and protect each other. I think these are some sick fuckers, folks. There is so much about them that is all about the sexual trafficking and sexual abuse of children. I mean, how many kids are missing that tried coming across the border and separated from their families by the Kamala Harris border czar administration? 325,000, is it? Or is it 350,000? There's a lot at stake here, folks. I think maybe this time, if Trump can put an attorney general in office who's worth a shit, and if he fires Christopher Wray from the FBI and cleans out the top floors and brings in new blood, fresh, real investigators who want law and order in this country, a real attorney general, a real Department of Justice. I think these people that said they're going to leave the country, I think they really will. I think this time enough is known and the public is disgusted. You bet. But remember, the deep state is real. The deep state is real, right? Steny Hoyer admitted it right in Congress. They have their moles, they have their plants, they have their double agents, they have their games that they play. Now, down in Argentina, folks, they are getting rid of people still. I want to get this out as a for example, right? Argentina, the foreign minister there was fired. You're fired. Fired by none other than the chainsaw himself, Javier Milei. You want to know why? Because the foreign minister for Argentina voted in favor of Cuba at the United Nations. So President Milei wanted to make sure everyone understands, no communism. Folks, we need Trump to join with Elon Musk, cut government spending, fat bureaucracy spending, everything, right? Cut it and destroy the Marxism, the communism, and reaffirm that we have a constitutional republic. And the message needs to go out to the deep state and the bureaucracy. Don't fuck with freedom. Now, a friend of mine today, who I spoke with on the way back to the Prepared Mind bunker, and before I got to the Prepared Mind studio, and this guy controls over $1 billion in assets on Wall Street. Very, I'm going to call him well-connected, investing. You know, dude's got some influence. Anyways, he says, John, you and I need to sit down when we have time. He's a little bit of a busy man, as you can imagine, and discuss Trump's tariffs plan. I don't know what he has in mind. I don't know what he knows. I don't know who he knows. I just know he's a big shot in the world of the large banks that we read about, see about, and hear about. So I'm looking forward to that, and I will, once I've been given permission, I'll share what is taught to me or shared with me. It could just be a private conversation and personal opinions, or it could be some sort of investment information. Gonna find out, folks. Gonna find out. But as far as everyone in government, there needs to be a lot of people getting fired. A lot of people being exposed. And I think Trump ought to fire the fuck out of everyone. He's got 4 years. And he's done. If we've learned anything, it's government will drag its feet. Government will wait you out. It'll wait you out and let you wither on the vine and die. Right? Government doesn't need to last longer than everybody. It just needs to last longer than its enemies. And we are the government's enemies, folks. We truly are. They're scared, folks. They're scared. Kamala Harris, once again, she's going to lose this election. Every one of us, you, me, all of us, we need to continue to participate in the voting process. Everything. Now, maybe the people because around me, there are several places for early voting. It's the first time in my life I've ever voted early, folks. First time ever. First time ever. There's probably, if I read the paper correctly, half a dozen, maybe 8 different early voting places where everyone in the county can go to. It was quite interesting. So I just selected one. It's not the one that I normally go to, but maybe they recognize me. I don't know. But the point is that there was tons of people voting. And Kamala's not doing well. Not at all. Not with minorities. Continuing to see Black Americans filming their votes, filming themselves and saying, I voted for Trump, publicly showing their faces. Everyone, hey, they're outing themselves. But Kamala's also lost the Hispanic vote, folks. In fact, YouTube tried canceling, and they did. They did. They banned, they stopped, they canceled, they shut down the Gateway Hispanic YouTube channel, right? The Gateway Pundit, a great source of information across the board, kind of like Zero Hedge and Free Beacon and many of the other websites out there that if you don't want mainstream media, you can start hunting around and find stuff. So Gateway has a Hispanic channel, and it got killed by YouTube. But they appealed it, and they got it pulled back. And YouTube admitted that there's no violation made by Gateway Hispanic. It was just a shitty way to try and silence them. Right? Once again, folks, Marxist social media hates free speech because people, when they get their own information, when they collect it from multiple sources, well, they can think for themselves. And that is not allowed in Commuland. Now, here's the deal. When we grew up, you, me, us, all us, anyone over 40, let's say, news used to be ABC, NBC, CBS. If you were crazy, you could get the PBS NewsHour with Jim Lehrer. But also Fox popped in there at the end. But the mainstream media all did news at the same time. What I mean is, local news came on at 5, 5:30. 6 o'clock was primetime network news. And that was it. So you couldn't go watch another channel, right? Because they all had the same time frame. But now you can go read, hear this, that, the other, and pick and watch everything and compare news from all the channels, all the sources. Back then, you're just like, well, last night, Ted Koppel said, last night, Jennings said, last night, Brokaw said. And if you're really old, you say Walter Cronkite said. It's funny. I met a guy the other day. He was a captain on the yacht that Walter Cronkite owned. He told me that Walter Cronkite loved popcorn. He was also his captain and chef. Had to make popcorn in one of those Jiffy Pop things that was aluminum. Once again, I'm getting very old there. Anyways, Gateway Hispanic back. They don't like that minorities are leaving their party. They don't like it. They're crazy. They're doing all they can to cheat. And this next article that we're going to discuss is incredible. In Colorado, the Secretary of State, her name is Jenna Griswold. Her eyes don't look quite right. They look kind of buggy, kind of like Tim Walz's wife, that screwy, crazy, I'm on a bunch of drugs look. Anyways, apparently, she left the voting system for Colorado. The passwords were exposed online for months, not days or weeks, but months. Inside a spreadsheet that was made public, it was like on a back tab. She left them open, exposed. But once she was caught by Republicans who discovered this, she took action, Jenna Griswold was, to change some of the passwords in the voting machines, but only some of them, not all of them. And she looks like she knows her ass is going to jail. People in Colorado are demanding her resignation. The government is now opening investigations, and there could be some serious trouble. Serious. Because of this security risk. And as far as I'm concerned, treasonous. A lot of people say the passwords that were open and available could have only come from the Secretary of State. Could have only come from her desk. Now, I think that Colorado should either revote, or maybe Colorado should be eliminated, banned from this election. Now, the reason I'm kind of leaning and wishing that that would be the case, even though I doubt it, we already knew Colorado was going to go for the Democrats unless something dramatic happened, because Colorado is infested with California liberal transplants, infested with it. But I think that a state, when it fails that great, the whole nation should not wait for them to get their shit together. There's a time lag, right? I think that their state should be banned from the election. Their electoral college votes should be removed from the total of what is required to win. I think that it's intentional that these passwords are left out, and there should be a penalty to not only the Secretary of State, but the entire state of Colorado, because its government absolutely failed the people. And I would say that if they were removed, if they were not allowed, well, you can still be part of the union, but guess what? You shouldn't be cheating the way you did. And after losing, folks, participation in a national election and for cheating, I would say that the people will make sure it doesn't happen again. Because now they have been disenfranchised, not by me and you, not by Washington, D.C., not by Trump, but by their own people. I would love for that to happen so that the people demand that their states, that their election boards, that their voting districts obey the rules and do not cheat. Now, speaking of that, there is a statistic is out there, and Elon Musk, of all people, is the one really promoting it on Twitter. I still call it Twitter. It's X. But Elon Musk has been writing that 85% of Americans, want there to be mandatory voter ID. Mandatory voter ID. You cannot vote unless you have ID. You have to be an American, right? You can't be a foreign national, in other words, an alien to this country and vote. If you've got a driver's license and you're a foreign national, there should be an indicative mark on the license. Well, I guess we're going to find out if we're going to get there or if we're just going to continue to, shall we say, vacation in the land of Banana Republic, because that is what America looks like. People around the world are laughing. Someone recorded, and I thought this was absolutely fantastic. In Kentucky, Someone was standing there and they're poking the electronic computer screen button. Poke, 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 trying to get it to vote for Trump. And then you see a woman's hand going there. It was either the person's wife or maybe he had called over an election official. Boink, 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 taps Trump, and then Kamala comes up. And I thought, holy shit. And that is all over social media, especially X, right? Everyone is retweeting that all over X. I ran into it at least a dozen times. And there's someone else. There are other Republicans out there, other officials, other big shots that are saying exactly what you and I have been talking about. This is incredible. They're saying, if anyone tells you to leave, do not leave. Stay there and vote. Don't let anyone chase you off, scare you off, warn you off, try and frighten you, lie to you. You are in line to vote. You have to be allowed to vote. Do not leave. And then others are saying, if you see anything wrong, you call the police right there. That is being spread around because they want this stuff on record. Lara Trump, right, with the Republican National Committee, she is hiring and sending out her lawyers and putting an end to this bullshit. I couldn't be more pleased with this type of information, right? They want to cheat, but they're getting turned over. The Democrat, their stupid, ridiculous lawsuits, they're losing. The Republicans are winning and having these illegal voters and registrations taken off. One person was found having voted or received 29 ballots. There's going to be some fucking arrests, folks. A lot of them. But I want people with fancy suits and fancy names, like Secretary of State in Colorado. I want him done. How about Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania? I want him cooked. Done. These people, folks. Fuzzy Fork, thank you for the email. But yeah, it's being stopped cold, folks. This cheating in a lot of places. It only works if you and I keep fighting them. Report all cheating. Now, in Michigan, Democrats wanted to count 168,000 duplicate ballots, right? These duplicate ballots were reported. And within 4 hours, the RNC acted and fixed the problem, removed those ballots. They will not count. Right? Remember Ronna the Rhino McRomney? Right. Rhino McRomney. Mitt Romney's daughter was running the Republican Party. And what did she do in 2020? Just said, oh, it's fine. It's cool. It's fine. It's cool. There's no problem there. We like everything's fine. Nothing was done. All lawsuits were not filed until afterwards. And then they were ignored, pissed away, nothing. This time it's a little different, right? Big shout out to Lara Trump for doing what she's doing. Really, folks, it is crazy out there. Now, Kamala's kiss ass, who apparently is controlled as a Schwarzenegger, right? Apparently seems to be controlled. Mark Cuban today. I mean, after Hillary came back out and said, you and I, well, calling us deplorables was too generous. And calling us Nazis and calling Trump Hitler. And then Biden wants to call us garbage. Oh, people are putting on garbage bags. They're putting garbage bags on. They're cutting 2 holes in the bottom, pulling it up and pulling the drawstring around their waist, or cutting a hole in the top and 2 arm holes and sticking out. They're wearing garbage bags to go vote. I think it's fucking hilarious. There's women doing it too. We've seen more women doing that than men. They're like, oh, you want fucking garbage? I'll show you garbage. Black women too. Saw the videos. It's like going to vote. Anyways, after all of this, calling us garbage, Mark Cuban, billionaire moron. Looks like Mad Dog, Mad Cow, Mad Owl. Looks like her evil twin brother. He claims that no strong, intelligent women support Trump? How would he even know? Would strong, intelligent women and Republican women at that tell Mark anything? How would he know? Also, how the fuck does Mark know what a woman is? I thought Democrats could not define what a woman is. Well, stands to reason they know, because they know everything. They know everything. They're perfect. Oh, they know everything. Democrats are so brilliant. Oh, yeah, they are totally brilliant. Totally brilliant. They're fine people, very fine. I'm going to do my Trump. They're fine people out there. Speaking of fine people, how about AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? She says that Kamala is secretly, quote, much more progressive than her campaign bullshit, lies, and rhetoric. Now, there's two parts to this, and then we're going to get to your questions. So get your questions down below. Part one, number one, AOC just shit on Kamala. She did. She just outed Kamala as being fucking Marxist, a communist, much more progressive than her campaign rhetoric would indicate. And number two, progressive means fascist, communist. And I want to do this one more time with everyone, because I've been saying it for years, probably the last 5 or 6 years. China is controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP. The military wing of the Chinese Communist Party controls the country from the inside with an iron fist. And that is the People's Liberation Army, the PLA. They're the ones that drove the tanks in Tiananmen Square and basically killed everyone for demanding free speech. Folks, free speech is so important that Chinese people showed up to protest and were slaughtered for it. They knew the government wouldn't like it. They knew there was risk, and they fucking died. And that one Chinese fellow who stood in front of the tank, and when the tank tried going around him, he moved in front of it. He moved in front of it. Why did he do that? Not to get rid of the Communist Party, not to fight the People's Liberation Army, but to make a point that he was not going to allow them to get away. He wanted the confrontation, and they fucking murdered him. Free speech is all he wanted. He was not trying to overthrow the government. It was not an insurrection. But the Chinese Communist Party does not have a communist economy. Businesses from around the world, America, Europe, oh yeah, all around the world, every other continent has businesses manufacturing inside of China, growing, expanding the Chinese industrial manufacturing base. How is that possible if in a Chinese-controlled government and economic system, the people and corporations do not own factories, workers, nor make profits, but in China they do? The reason is because in China, it is a communist regime that allows businesses to operate, people to own the businesses and make a profit. That system of socialism, where corporations and people own the businesses and make a profit and then pay big handouts to the government, that is called fascism. It is still socialism, but it allows for business ownership and profits by wealthy people. So China, a communist country, gets its kickbacks big time from private corporations, and they're allowed to own businesses and make a profit in China. So you can have a country that is a communist-controlled government, and it's communism for all the little people. Totalitarian, authoritarian, communist, Marxist control for the little people, but the wealthy people up here, they get to own businesses and make a profit and live like kings. China has understood that the Nazi system for economics works, and they understand that the Russian communist system for controlling the people works. People get out of hand, you roll in the tanks and you murder them. Businesses want to make some money, you let them, and you just take your vigorish. That's what Kamala, that's what Hillary, that's what they want. So when I call them commu-fascist or communist fascist, I'm not confused about the difference between communism and fascism. They're not a left and right paradigm. They are both left-wing systems of control and domination. Pure communism doesn't allow private ownership of property or businesses and profit. But fascism does. And fascism is still authoritarian. It is still totalitarian. But you can see now, if you understand that the United States of America, under the globalist World Economic Forum, United Nations, Bilderberg Illuminati banner, that's what they want for the rest of the world. They want authoritarian, iron fist control of the people, but the rich get to own their businesses. So the aristocrats, the royalty, the nobility, the super powerful, they get to continue to own stuff and make big money and live free and do what they want, while the government controls and smashes the people. What a world we live in. And that's how we can get a neo-feudal system, folks, where you live in a 15-minute city and you're not allowed to go anywhere outside that 15 minutes. You're not allowed to have any wealth or own any property, and you'll be happy about it. Do you understand the fourth turning? Do you understand neo-feudalism? Do you understand communist-fascist systems? Do you understand why you will eat the bugs? Do you understand what they're doing to us right now? And Kamala is key to it. And she's failing. She's failing bad. That is the best they have. All of America, the best they have is a prostitute pretending to be a black woman who can't speak, is a complete moron. There you have it. There you have it. All right, Mr. Uman, let's do this. Let's go to the inner circle, and then we'll get your questions, comments, thoughts. Wow. Here we are, Mr. Uman. I'm pretty sure you're in the background there. Where are you at? There you are. Oh, boy. What do we have to talk about? What's on your mind, Mr. Uman? He says, Red Arrow Tinker. He says, hey. She says, hey. If Javier Milei can be the chainsaw, then Trump can be the trash collector. Oh, I love it. It just cracks me up. I mean, look at the iconic moments we've gotten from Trump this year. Think about it. A fucking mugshot where he's like, he's giving the camera the stink eye. Incredible moment in American history. He gets shot through the fucking ear. And he stands up, Secret Service clamoring all over him, American flag in the background, and someone snaps one of the most iconic pictures in human history. It's right up there with the Marine Corps, Marines of World War II, raising Old Glory at the top of Mount Suribachi on Iwo Jima. There have been some incredible pictures taken, and that one, folks, is for the ages. And it continued. Trump made standing in the drive-through window of a fucking McDonald's iconic, right? He's a regular dude. And then they, the Democrats, Joe Biden, Kamala's boss, supposedly, insults us and calls us garbage. Within 24 hours, they procured a white garbage truck. They procured a huge Trump sign. They stuck American flags all over it and had it waiting at the fucking airport for Trump to go climb in and just nail a photo op. And then appear on stage at his rally wearing a vest, a working man's vest. And it caught everyone by surprise. I mean, fucking high-fiving people. You know, when you see that, you're like, that guy, everything they do, right? They try fucking with him and it turns to gold. Right? They arrest him. People are like, I'm voting for the felon. They shoot him. Everyone's like, fight. He works in McDonald's. It's like, yeah, now he has and she hasn't. She's a fucking liar. I mean, everyone has seen the picture where they photoshopped Kamala's face as a young girl onto someone else's body. Turns out that person that they stole the picture from was someone who died tragically. So not only did they steal the picture, they stole just the sanctity and memory of that person. What a bunch of scumbags. Fucking Democrats, I tell you. All right, man, where do we want to roll next? What's the next topic? And it is Roy the Crypto Boy. And he says, hey, Trump will win in a fair election. In a fair election, it's a no contest. He says, Roy does, some activity in some states is suspicious. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Courts could determine the election, especially if Kamala Harris does not certify the election. How to prepare if Kamala Harris takes the election. Now, I learned something very interesting. I've been saying, look, he's got to win the election. He's got to declare victory. The media's got to back the fuck up. Then we got on January 6th, Kamala is supposed to certify the election before we get to the inauguration. What I discovered is the vice president's role. The vice president's role in certifying the January 6th Electoral College results is now ceremonial only. After the January 6th incident from 2020, or 2021 rather, the government passed a rule that it's a ceremonial role and that the vice president doesn't actually have to certify it, that it just gets certified once everything is turned in. So they have taken, the Democrats, from themselves that ham bone. They don't get to play that card. I mean, they could try, they could lie. Kamala could throw a fit. She could get in front of microphones. But apparently, she doesn't have to certify it. It is done automatically. Very interesting, folks. We'll see. You know, they may claim, "Oh, that's an unconstitutional. That's unconstitutional. She has to be the one to actually certify it." Yeah. Well, it's funny how they love the Constitution. Democrats do. In fact, I keep hearing this. Trump's going to destroy the Constitution. I actually went to Kamala Harris's X account. I needed to write a couple of things to her on a couple of her stupid fucking comments. Basically, I told her she's a great liar, right? She's such a good actress that her lies are amazing. Still, you know, Trump is trying to destroy the Constitution. Are you fucking kidding me? They want to take away the First, the Second Amendments. They want to trash and destroy the Fourth and Fifth even more. They want to absolutely melt down and burn the 10th. And they've ignored the 7th, which is cruel and unusual punishment. Woo! I'm telling you, folks, it is getting juicy, and I could feel the tension, the hate, the anger, the violence that is out there. Now, again, I live in a very, very, very Republican system. In fact, this is interesting. The county I'm in was once allegedly controlled by Democrats, ways back, but they still have operatives there. People were getting mail-in ballots in my county that were ripped. So they can't go through the machine. Ripped. Put in an envelope and mailed. How much do you want to bet that the recipient was a Republican? I didn't trust the poll workers. I don't know what their politics were because, it was a nonpartisan thing. But the poll worker there checked my voter registration card, checked my driver's license with picture, verified I was who I was based on my signature. Oh, yeah, I had to sign my signature right there electronically. And they go, "Oh, this is the same as on your ID." I said, "Well, it should be. It's me, dumb fuck." Anyways, I appreciated the fact they went through the roll. And then they printed out my ballot right there with fancy-ass machines put a number on it. The number matched the receipt matched the number. I was asked to look at the fucking name and address on it. It's hard to see it because it was so small. But anyways, all right, the county, pretty good system where I'm at. Feels pretty safe. Still don't fucking trust them, but here we are. All right, ooh man, where do we want to roll next? And Village Idiot checks in. I love fucking that dog kills me. He says, purple thumbs on election day. Purple thumbs. Why purple thumbs, man? I know, right. Red is Republican and blue is Democrat, and you put them together, you get purple. But purple thumbs. Someone help me out. Ooh, man, I don't get it, man. Did I miss that day in school?
In the old days, you used to have to get a thumbprint.
Oh, those purple thumbs.
Those purple thumbs.
Yeah,
so you had to do a thumbprint, and then you had the ink on your thumb, so you couldn't vote twice.
Yeah, I if I remember in California, we got a rubber stamp on the back of the hand. But they never did a thumbprint that I know of, that I can remember. Maybe, possibly, but it was black ink. Or am I thinking
I don't recall what color it was. I don't recall what color it was, but I've heard a lot of people say purple.
Yeah, there was a way to mark you so you couldn't vote again.
Right.
I mean, that's good. It's absolutely a good thing. Village Idiot, thanks for sharing that with us. You just dated yourself, man.
Yeah, I mean, that goes the whole thing. I like that Trump made the comment about in-person voting on election day, make it a national holiday.
I'd agree with that.
I've said make it a national holiday for years.
And I say, if you're a government worker, you don't get paid for it. And same with the rest of us. It's a national holiday. No one gets fucking paid.
Yep.
Or you don't have to get paid. And that way, hey, you're not getting paid. Go get it taken care of and get your ass back to work. And then you can clock in. I don't know. Fuck. But I do. I think voting on the same day.
Yep. It should only be a rare exception that you don't have to show up to do it. No mail-in ballots, unless you're stationed overseas or something like that, like it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. There's someone just got arrested. Speaking of overseas ballots, some Democrat woman somewhere was fucking around with overseas ballots, military ballots, cheating again. Just the cheat is just disgusting. I just remember, a couple of decades ago, the big discussion about military ballots. I think it may have been in 2000, the 2000 election with Bush and Al Gore, because of all the military people. They were trying to disenfranchise them because they know the military votes 2-1 for Republicans. And that is still the case. I caught that statistic again for this election. And that's why they don't like the military. For me, it was rather heartening, one, because the military does vote 2-1 for Republicans, and two, knowing that the military inside it is 2-1 Republicans. That means the communists, well, if they want to shoot people, shoot Americans, there's a lower chance of it happening. Anyways, thank you for the purple thumbs. There ought to be a way to mark people,
Yeah. And I'll give you my prediction for what happens depending on the results of the election while I'm on.
Okay, well, Umahan says, if Camel Toes loses, I predict there will be violin protests in big shitties. Oh, if anyone protests with a violin, I'm going to be very pissed. Anyways, yeah, violent protests in big cities. If she wins, I, Uman, predict there will be a mass outbreak of mean tweets. Oh, yeah. So share with me your thoughts that you got.
Well, if she loses, we've seen that the Democrats have demonstrated that they have no problem with going to violence and protests and stuff like that. So I don't think that would be any different. And on our side, we got all these people that, I'm going to go out and do this, that, and the other. But there is no track record of that happening. So I see a lot of people bitching on the internet and not getting off the couch and doing anything meaningful.
Right. What I've found heartening, as I know that the mean tweets and the keyboard warriors would be out in full force, the fact that people are filming cheating, catching cheaters, like the one guy who drove his automobile from, I think it was either Delaware or Rhode Island.
It was Rhode Island.
A postal worker. Rhode Island, okay. Postal worker. He's been proven. They know his name. He was a postal worker, but why was he driving? And someone tried saying they were fake plates. No, they were real plates. They were legitimate. But why is he in a personal private vehicle delivering ballots into the state of Pennsylvania? That question has not been answered.
Right. Yeah, I saw that there were questions about whether he was a real postal worker or just had clothes on that were similar to a postal worker's. I have not heard that they confirmed that yet. So
yeah, what I had heard is it was confirmed that he's a postal worker. But yeah, who knows? But the cheating, they're trying. But I really believe, even though I've got great concern, Oliver, great concern that that they could win. I don't want people to sit back and think it's over. It's not. Some of Trump's early leads in early voting, those leads have shrunk, and it's much closer. But still, the Republican turnout for early voting is massively bigger than it used to be. It used to be that the Democrats always led in early voting, and
right,
often voting.
And conversely, Republicans always showed up in greater numbers on election day and in person. So all this early voting will also likely diminish the numbers of people voting on election day.
Right. So we don't know exactly yet how this is going to play out. Now,
Nope.
Like I said, in California, I never had the option for early voting. You know, it's not like we have an option. It's what state do you live in and what's their rules.
Right.
So I guess we're going to find out, man. It is a shit show. I'm wondering, should I be broadcasting on election night?
It might be interesting.
I did it in 2016 at a bottle of scotch. No super chats at the time, just a bottle of scotch. I think it was a bottle of scotch. And basically just giving updates. And I may have even gone on and then gone off and gone on and off. I can't remember how the hell I did it, but I'm thinking it might be a good thing to do.
Well, I'm not going to be up at 2 a.m. when the big drops happen.
No, I'm not going to be awake when they decide Kamala wins. No.
Yeah.
It's I mean, talk about just a fucking travesty of decency and justice.
What time do they typically start reporting the results coming in?
They start calling states as the eastern polls close.
What time is that?
I believe it's 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
7 or
Okay.
8, something like that. And so they close at 7 or 8, and then 8 or 9, they start calling states in the Eastern time zone. And there's other states that have an earlier closing time. So those, it's kind of a fucking mess.
Yeah.
But it is a shit show. It's going to be.
Let's play it by ear.
Yeah, let's do that. But I'm thinking about it. You guys let us know, should I come on live for the election? Have some popcorn and some beer or something. I don't fucking know. You guys let me know what you want to see, and I'll have some fun. I'll be here. All right, man, let's do some more questions. Und next, we have, and it's drum roll, badass diving frog. And he says, John, it seems that the Menendez brothers might be innocent. Big Daddy Menendez had dealings with Clive Davis. Well, I'm going to have to plead ignorance here. I can't remember at the moment who the fuck Clive Davis is. I may have killed those brain cells once, but I know who the Menendez brothers are. The Menendez brothers killed their parents, I believe, murdered them cold blood. I think shot them and then reloaded and shot them again. It's been a long time. They were O.J. Simpson era type murderers. They were young men, and now they're like my age in their 50s. But yeah, the Menendez brothers, my ex, worked for the youth correctional system in California, and actually had the joy of dealing with at least one of the Menendez brothers and his attorney, Alan Dushowitz. Just fucking ambulance chasing, spotlight hogging attorneys. Look out. They're out there, folks. They are. Anyways, I'm going to have to plead ignorance. Don't vote for me. Okay, well, man, let's move on again. I'll have to look up Clive Davis later. It's name redacted. He said, just made me stop to respond. John, Barry Soetoro said it himself, quote, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. That's an interesting thought. Yeah. You can tell a friend, right? Because birds of a feather flock together. So Schwarzenegger, Podesta, Kamala, P. Diddy, Oprah, Harvey Weinstein. Not just casual acquaintances, but friends, right? Kamala and Montel, Kamala and Willie Brown. Right. Kamala and P. Diddy. Suspicious? I don't know. Actually, yeah, very fucking suspicious. Yeah, you can tell a friend by who it is they know and hang out with and spend time. Right? You can tell. Oh boy. Crazy business. I want to stop right here and see what's in the news, just in case something big and crazy happened here. Let's see. This is still very fascinating. For blocking its channels on YouTube. That's why Russia has fined Google $20 decillion or rubles. Whether it's rubles or not, a decillion is on the other side of trillion. So it's million, billion, trillion, decillion, I guess, which is, of course, more currency money than the entire world's gross domestic product. Talking about making a fucking statement. Just a little comedy. Man, who's up next? I know we got some more to talk about. What do we got? We got man. He says there was some terrible flooding. This is a conspiracy theory here. Terrible, awful, incredible, nasty flooding in Spain this week. 150 people confirmed dead. He says, I wonder if they found lithium deposits and had to break out the space lasers. There is something here. There is something here on Spain and why they got the flood. I think it was, yes, it had to do with Israel. Allegedly, Israel was supposed to get some sort of weapons or defense systems or some sort of assistance from Spain. And Spain said no. And within days, apparently, they got some HARP-like activity and some torrential downpours like they've never had. And real or not. Yeah, in this case, I think it was weapons and not lithium deposits. Unless you heard they have both lithiums and weapons. Man, you shaking your head? No, he doesn't know, don't know. We don't know, and he's not going to say. He's gonna keep mum's the word there, right? Anyways, apparently the Dodgers won the World Series, folks. Won the World Series. So mass looting, chaos, arson. I guess maybe St. George Floyd dying was positive. Kind of like the Dodgers winning the World Series. When something good or bad happens, you just start burning shit, fucking looting stores. That's the world we live in, folks. Hey, chance favors the prepared mind. Go to thepreparedmind.club. Preparedmind.club and get yourself prepared. Get yourself food. Next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we could have some crazy ass shit going down. Hey, you guys be cool. Semper Fi, and God bless America.